We often think of genealogy as a modern hobby, but the drive to record our begats is almost as old as civilization itself. For millennia, humans have been obsessed with documenting where they came from. We see this in the cuneiform clay tablets of ancient Babylon and the intricate hieroglyphics on Egyptian papyrus. We find it in the sacred Hebrew rolls, which were likely sheepskin originally, preserving lineage through centuries of displacement. Even up to the modern era, the humble pen and paper remained the gold standard. Whether it was a tattered notebook, binders on a shelf, the family Bible, we have always found a way to leave a trail for those who follow. Now, pen and paper still work. If you love your spiral notebooks and three-ring binders, filing cabinets with folders, there's no law saying you have to stop. But this is tech for seniors. And to understand where we're going, we have to look at the fascinating, often overlooked history of how we taught machines to remember for us. I'll start in the 9th century with the Banu Musu brothers. I'll admit, I've never heard of them before. Have you? They were brilliant engineers in the Baghdad House of Wisdom. Around 850 AD, they invented an automatic music machine, a flute player programmed by a revolving cylinder, and this was driven by water wheels. They even gave us the crankshaft and the basic float valve mechanism that still runs your toilet tank today. This idea of programming evolved into the jacquard loom in 1804 using punch cards to weave silk, and eventually to the music boxes and player pianos many of us remember. We loved our player piano at home. We had hundreds of rolls ranging from the classics to the full music of The Sound of Music and The Fiddler of the Roof. There were musical instruments that were self-programming, including carillons and music boxes that had changeable discs, much like the record players of the 20th century. By the 19th century, Charles Babbage, often called the father of computers, conceived the analytical engine. But it was Lady Ada Lovelace, the mother of programming, who realized that these machines could do more than just crunch numbers. They could follow logic. And today they do AI. In the world of genealogy, this collided with the 1890 U.S. Census. Herman Hollerith used punch cards to compile the data, a system that birthed the company we now know as IBM, and those Hollerith cards became the IBM punch cards. By the late 70s and early 80s, the world changed again when spreadsheets like VisiCalc, introduced by Apple, and Lotus 123 came about. Even the LDS Church, which had been using millions of index cards and microfiche, saw the potential, leading to the creation of PATH, the personal ancestral file, which truly brought digital genealogy to the masses. Now, while PATH is no longer supported, many genealogists started with that as their first digital program. Just to illustrate three pillars of that transition: the Babbage analytical engine, the McBee manual sorting system, and the Apple running VisiCalc. You may have seen things like the McBee manual sorting system in libraries in the 40s and 50s. I remember this era well. The Commodore 64, released in 1982, actually had a very serviceable spreadsheet. That was my fourth home computer. I started with single-board devices made by Sinclair and TI, Texas Instruments, then moved to the VIC-20, which was the best birthday gift I ever got from my teenage sons. They saved up their money for it. When the Commodore 64 came out in August 1982, the store that sold the VIC-20 to my sons gave me a full $400 credit for my VIC-20 toward the $800 price tag. Of course, back then, if you didn't have an Apple or a Commodore, you might have had a Radio Shack TRS-80, though we computer snobs deridingly called it the Trash 80. Fast forward to today, and we have a massive ecosystem of software. This covers the heavy hitters. You might see the program you're currently using on this screen right now. But here is a crucial warning. Software can die. The names highlighted in red are obsolete. They are no longer supported, which means they are essentially dead. If you are using one of these, your data is at risk. You need to migrate to a modern platform as soon as possible, ideally by creating a GEDCOM file, which is the universal language of genealogy. Two of these programs are a little bit different. The Master Genealogist, TMG, is technically unsupported by its developer, but it has such a dedicated community of users that it's still safe for now. And the spreadsheets, well, they're great for research notes, but they are not family trees, although some people did create family trees on them. They lack standards and GEDCOM support, making migration a cut and paste nightmare. It's painful, but moving to a real genealogy program is worth the effort. Let's look at that list again with some new colors. Red is still dead. Blue represents our spreadsheets, but now look at the green versus purple. Green represents web-centric programs, things that live in the cloud. Purple represents local programs, software that lives on your computer. My professional advice? Your primary reference version of your tree should always be a purple program. Use the green ones like Ancestry for DNA matching and finding new cousins, but keep your master record on your own machine. And remember, even if you are in the purple, make sure that you're on a current version. For example, if you're using RootsMagic 7 or earlier, it's time to upgrade to version 11. So why am I so insistent that your primary tree stays on your own device rather than just online? First, ownership and control. When your tree is only online, you are essentially renting your own history. If a website changes its terms, raises its prices, or goes out of business, your years of hard work could be locked behind a paywall or vanish entirely. Privacy. Not everyone wants their family's private notes or photos of living relatives searchable by the world. Desktop software lets you decide exactly what to share and what to keep private. No internet, no problems. With desktop software, you can work on your genealogy at a library, a cemetery, or on a plane without needing a Wi-Fi connection. And fourth, superior tools. Now, while websites are getting better, and they do have great tools for DNA, desktop programs still offer much more powerful reporting, better source citation management, and more advanced tools for cleaning your data. When you are ready to choose your home-based software, it really comes to three deciding factors, which I've summarized here. First, which computer do you use? If you are strictly a Windows user, Legacy Family Tree is a powerhouse for research and reporting. For the Mac purists, Reunion is the gold standard. It's built specifically for the Apple interface. Mac Family Tree is also excellent, especially if you want a companion to modify your tree on your iPhone or iPad. If you want a program that doesn't care what you use, Windows, Mac, or even Linux, Free Gramps or even RootsMagic via Wine are your go-to options. Next, how important are syncing and webhints? This is where the big three databases come in. If you do most of your searching on Ancestry.com, Family Tree Maker or RootsMagic are your best bets for syncing. If MyHeritage is your primary resource, Legacy Family Tree is now owned by them and offers excellent integration, as does RootsMagic. These programs give you those powerhouse hints that search millions of records for you. If you rely on family search, look toward RootsMagic, Ancestor Quest, or Legacy to keep your local data and the global tree in harmony. Third, How important is modifying your data on a mobile device? This is the most limited area. Most mobile apps are just viewers. If you want to actually edit your information while you're out in the field, then you have a few choices. In the Android and Chromebook world, GEDKeeper is your best choice. It's free, and because it works directly on your universal GEDCOM file, your data is never trapped. It is also available for Windows, Mac, and Linux desktops and laptops. For iPhones and iPads, Mobile Family Tree is the most robust option. It's full-featured program on your tablet that syncs perfectly with its desktop version. Ultimately, the best software is the one that fits your specific hardware research style. I recommend trying the free Essentials or trial versions of a few of these to see which one feels most comfortable before you move your entire family history into it. When you find one you like, wait for Roots Tech in March or Mother's Day when there are likely to be special sale prices. Thank you for attending. I hope you found something to help you on your quest to find your ancestors or distant cousins, and that you learned something new in the history lesson. Have a good week, and to quote Jeff Rasmussen of Legacy Family Tree Webinars, life is short, do genealogy first. See you next time.